For analysis, we turn now to Arise News senior political analyst James Carville. Also, we're joined by former Republican U.S. Senator George Lemieux. He is the president of the Lemieux Center for Public Policy at Palm Beach Atlantic University. Welcome, both of you, gentlemen. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Stand by, Senator Lemieux, for just 1 second. I want to let James have his victory lap. You called it last night. You said it, and I think you almost said it to the number that it looks like it's going to turn out to be.
I'm reminded Abraham Lincoln about the guy who was run out of town on a rail. He said, if it would have been for the honor of the thing, I'd just soon walk. But it was right. I felt it coming, and just you get a sixth sense for these things. But I'm a big fan of bourbon, so maybe the president and Senator McConnell can
maybe you can't get something done with bourbon. You want to be in that meeting?
Yeah,
I'm wondering, though, to you, I mean, the Senate did turn out about like you said it was going to, but there were some surprises in the gubernatorial races.
Yeah, there was.
Three strong Democratic states that elected Republican governors. So was this worse than you thought it was going to be?
Probably a little. I mean, it certainly, maybe I knew it was going to be bad, maybe not. 8 senators is about where I thought it would come in. And the Virginia race, it was a big night for the Republicans. There's no denying that. That's just what it was. And you can go back and the turnout and the profile of the electorate and everything. I don't know how much it's going to mean to 2016, but it was a big night. And I think President Bush, and when I lost in 2006, he said it was a thumping. So I'll go ahead and call it
a thumping. Yeah, thumping, shellacking. All those words have been tossed around. So, Senator Lemieux, this was an exciting night for you, I would imagine, certainly for the Republican Party. I read that President Obama tried to call Mitch McConnell last night, supposedly or presumably, I should say, to congratulate him. Missed him because he had already gone to bed. Now, if the president called me, I'd wake up to take that call. So I'm wondering if this in any way is indicative of how well Mitch McConnell, the new Senate Majority Leader, or soon will be able to work with the president.
No, I don't think it is. It was a big night for Mitch McConnell and for Republicans across the country. Remember, Mitch McConnell has worked with this administration before, back in 2010 when the tax code had to be revised because of certain lapses in the estate tax and other things. That deal was worked out between Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden. So there is a working relationship there, at least with the administration. It was more Biden than Obama. I think that the president and new Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will be able to work on issues. And as you said in the lead into this show, picking on trade issues, which Republicans support. Frankly, the president had problems with his own party getting those passed. And then also focusing on tax reform, which, although there are ideological issues in it, it's less ideological than entitlement reform. Those are things they can work on together. And frankly, I think that this president wants to have some success before he leaves. He doesn't want to see his popularity rating continue to decline. I think he's going to be willing to work with Republicans in the Congress. And I think John Boehner and Mitch McConnell are pretty smart operators in terms of legislative process, and they're going to be able to get some things done.
So the last time, James, a completely Republican Congress was in office at the same time as a Democratic president, you'll remember this, 95, 96 with Bill Clinton. What lessons could we take from that to apply for these next 2 years?
Well, there was an expanding economy. This economy is starting to expand now. It's 3.5% growth. So if there's maybe some more revenue, they can do something. I think that my own view, is my prediction, the biggest single issue that's going to dominate foreign policy issue is going to be if the administration makes a deal with Iran and they go to the Senate, they have that ratified. I think that's going to be a battle that will foreshadow anything that we've seen in terms of a foreign policy debate.
I was a little bit in the news about that today. I was looking at that. It's not really looking good anyway in terms of coming to an agreement. The president made a statement, talking about the relationship and how there has been this history of distrust. So there's a couple of hurdles to get over there.
But if it happens, it's going to dominate everything.
This is what I want to know from you, George, and that is, I'm wondering if Speaker of the House John Boehner will have a harder time or an easier time of getting unity within his own party with having now an even greater majority of Republicans in the House.
Well, that's a great question. It remains to be seen. With the folks that were elected, I don't think that they are perhaps as conservative as those folks who were elected in the previous elections in 2010 specifically. So there was a pickup of a dozen seats on the House side. John Boehner's had to corral his own party, and that's normally a challenge for the Speaker of a House, maybe even more difficult in the House than in the Senate. But Republicans have a great challenge and a great opportunity in front of them. They've been out of power for a long time. This is a chance for them to put forward an agenda, get some things done. And if they can get some things done and show that Washington can work, we as Republicans can rehabilitate our reputation and I think sit very well for the 2016 presidential election.
Almost out of time, James. If you're giving the president any advice on how he solidifies his legacy in these last 2 years, what are you saying to him?
Well, first of all, I thought he made a good statement. I think in his mind, he's got, pretty good legacy. I think he'd like to add a couple of things, and I go back to the Iran deal. I think if they want a deal there, and if they get that to work, that would be pretty big to him.
It'd be
but
nice.
I don't think that anything, and I agree with Senator Lemieux. I mean, it's something might be able to do something on some tax issues, some trade issues, but I think
that's about as far as it's going to go.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. We have to leave it right there for now. James Carville, the seer of the future, and George Lemieux. Thank you both, gentlemen. Appreciate having you here.